Knife by Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie is an influential author who has wrote many award-winning books. One of those books is The Satanic Verses from 1988, and it caused a big controversy, a lot of groups claiming it was blasphemous. In 1989, the Ayatollah Khomeini went so far as to issue a fatwa calling for the killing of Salman Rushdie and all the people involved with publishing the Satanic Verses. There were many riots, people were killed. There was a huge controversy at the time. Salman Rushdie had to be guarded around the clock. People died, people rioted, and then 33 years passed and Salman Rushdie was still unscathed from the Ayatollah's declaration. A year and a half ago, I was going through Salman Rushdie's masterclass course on writing, and I thought he was an interesting writer, an interesting guy, and I was really enjoying it. And then towards the end, I got the news that someone had just attacked him at a speaking event and stabbed him 14 times. So it was shocking because I just so happened to be going through his class at the time. It wasn't clear at first whether or not he'd survive. It's kind of hard to do that when you're stabbed 14 times, but luckily he did. And Knife just came out last week, and it's his retelling of what happened and his reaction to it. He puts it in his own perspective, which in his case is a very literary perspective. He talks about how the incident represented the best and the worst of humanity, the worst being him being attacked by this guy who had never read any of his writings except for a couple pages and a couple YouTube videos where Salman Rushdie was talking. And the assassin, I guess that was enough for him. He decided that he was going to try and kill Salman Rushdie. It also represents the best of people because of the people in the audience who rushed up to stop the attacker and to save his life. And also the care of his wife, which he goes into some detail in this book as well. He phrases it as a triangle, him in the middle and hate on one side with the assassin and love on the other side through his wife. There are a lot of memorable parts to me in this book. I love the way that he talks about the immediate aftermath of being stabbed and his limited ability to perceive what's going on around him. He makes it just fascinating what it's like, the experience of being stabbed. I love how he talks about the first time he saw himself in the mirror after the stabbing attack. And I loved his imaginary conversation that he constructs with the assassin, which he still has never encountered or met. But he talks about that in the book, like, what if I were to talk to him? What if I were to have a conversation with him? It's fascinating, the things that he talks about and elaborates on. William Faulkner said that nothing bad can happen to a writer, and this book makes a good case study in that. You can see that Mr. Rushdie has spent his entire life in words, in literature, in thoughts and ideas, and this book is him showing the application of all those things. He puts out so many quotes from the classics, and it reminds me of why we have literature classes in high schools, and English is just like a basic tools for learning how to live in life is understand language, because there are great ideas from the classic writers that we can all benefit from, and this is the book of Salman Rushdie making the case for that. So maybe the expression could be expanded to nothing bad can happen to a reader. A strange point in this book, Salman Rushdie has been a devout atheist all his life. Yet as he's describing the story of his encounter, what happened here, he acknowledges that it was very miraculous in all the steps of his recovery, how his life was saved. And so he brings up this contradiction and he acknowledges the contradiction, but he acknowledges also that he is not changed by it. I think it's a fascinating non-answer to the fundamental question. Why is that? Is that an issue of you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Is it an issue of the contradiction is so difficult that people don't have the capacity to explain it anyway, so there's no point in wasting time on it? If I ever get stuck in an elevator with Salman Rushdie for whatever reason, I'll ask him, because I would love to hear him elaborate on that a bit. He brings a lot of his politics into the book, which is kind of his bread and butter, so I really wouldn't expect anything less from him at this point. I don't agree with him on politics and a lot of things, But I can't deny his extreme talent in writing and his love of the English language and the beauty of the words is contagious. And so that's on full display in this book. And so I really enjoyed it from beginning to end. He's managed to take this horrifying experience and turn it into a very worthwhile book. I'm doubting that his assassin would approve of that as the outcome of this assassination attempt. So once again, literature wins in the end. I'm going to give this book 4.5 stars.